Hello, this is Breakfast with Louise Minchin and Charlie State.
Human trafficking in the UK is on the rise. Hello, very good morning to you. It is Thursday, the 18th of October.
Also this morning, the Tigers with the long...
And Alex has the weather. Thanks, Alex. See you later.
Good morning. First, our main story. Human trafficking in Britain is on the increase, according to new government estimates. The study says organised criminal gangs are behind the illegal trade in people for sex, labour and domestic slavery.
Most of the victims come from China, Nigeria and Eastern Europe. The first cases of people being brought to the UK to have organs removed have also been recorded.
Universities in England should check students' backgrounds and offer lower grades to people from poorer homes, according to the government's advisor on social mobility.
In a report published today, the former Labour Minister Alan Milburn also says some sixth form pupils should receive payments to encourage them to stay on at school. And we will be speaking to Alan Milburn about his report in about an hour's time here on Breakfast.
A 21-year-old Bangladeshi man has been arrested in New York on suspicion of plotting to blow up the Federal Reserve building. Qazi Nafis had travelled to the US on a student visa and was arrested after an undercover FBI agent supplied him with fake explosives. British police will dig up land on the Greek island of Kos tomorrow in the search for Ben Needham. Ben was 21.
The economy in China has shown slower growth for the 7th consecutive quarter. It grew by 7%.
Greece is bracing itself for a general strike, the second in a month over the next round of government spending cuts.
Trade unions are planning to bring most of the country to a standstill for 24 hours. Our Athens tell us what their plans are. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Northern Ireland's first private abortion clinic will officially open today, despite expected protests from pro-life campaigners.
And we'll be discussing that in more detail around 20 to 7 here on Breakfast. Just days after an historic agreement was reached to hold a referendum on independence, the Scottish National Party conference gets underway today. And we will be speaking to the deputy leader of the Scottish National Party, Nicola Sturgeon, just after 7:30.
Chain stores are shutting shops at a rate of more than 30 a day. That's according to new research. High-profile...
A pair of conjoined twins have successfully been separated after an operation at London's Great Ormond Street Hospital.
Unique, a work of art and spectacular. Those are not words you would normally expect to be associated with a round... It is no ordinary roundabout, is it? It's
no.
Good. I like that.
A bit distracting, though, if it was actually working. But anyway,
yeah,
morning, Sally.
Perfect gyrate route. Don't you love that phrase? Morning to you both. I think England probably might want to have another go at playing that game again today, after yesterday. Isn't it?
Is that the night before the match?
The night before the second match, yes.
Isn't it?
They were given baby Frankles. That's what they're looking for.
How much for, presumably it's like, what, £1 million a go? Is it? I'm not it's not a technical term.
I think you could have said much worse, Charlie, that's fine.
Do you know,
Really, that's what I was going to ask. Did you have to have a child in order to play?
Yeah.
A child?
Child, full.
A small horse?
Full.
It's all getting a bit confusing. Thank you very much.
When you do know, Sally, will you let us know?
Yes.
Good.
Well, we won't be here.
Let's finish talking about that.
The Guardian, front page of The Guardian, Hollande's stark warning to Merkel.
Yes, the Sun leading with another story about Jimmy Savile.
Front page Independent, they're talking about David Cameron saying that...
Yes, front page of The Times. They're picking up on the issue that emerged yesterday in the House.
Shall you have a quick look at the inside pages? You wanted to look at this one, didn't you, Charlie? Apparently, the fashion mistake that I most regret that I lost my leather trousers, which I really loved. I didn't have regret buying them. What about you, Steph?
Red leather trousers I bought once, and they are such a... Yeah, exactly. Horrendous. Whose idea was that?
Did you wear them often?
No, of course I've not got them, no. I sold them on eBay, actually.
Oh, well done, Steph. You see, always the entrepreneur. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Morning.
Thank you for that admission.
Well, hello, Charlie. You're not making,
Steph, thank you, as always. See you later.
Thanks,
Sorry
Steph.
to insult you, Charlie.
That's right.
It's early.
17 minutes past 6 is the time. You're at your breakfast from BBC News. Our main stories this morning. Also coming up in the programme, we'll discuss...
I'm going to catch up with the weather, and Alex this morning is in Weston-super-Mare, and the Environment Agencies have been warning people there, haven't they, about possible floods. Morning. Alex, thank you. See you later. Thanks.
Now, for some people who've struggled with their weight for years, surgery is the perfect answer, but new research suggests too many now see it as a quick fix and go into the operations without enough information.
Yes, the independent study says some patients in England, Wales and Northern Ireland are not being given enough time before they consent to surgery and are not being offered enough support after their operations. Our health correspondent Dominic Hughes has more. And just let us know your thoughts on that. We'll be talking about that with a gastric bypass patient, also a consultant surgeon, in an hour from now. You do get in contact with us about that if you'd like to.
6:24 is the time. The hotly anticipated film On the Road has had fans flocking to see if the adaptation of the cult novel can live up to the hype.
But could the film, which is about a road trip across America, spark a renewed interest in hitchhiking, or is it a practice that has gone permanently out of fashion?
Simon Calder has been thumbing his way from Preston to Glasgow to find out.
He's amazing, isn't he? Well, there you go. That was Simon Calder. We'll talk to him about his experiences later. I didn't know he doesn't own a car, in fact, and that's how he gets around.
That is the way. We want to know what you think. Would you feel safe hitchhiking these days? I suppose the other side of the coin is, do you ever pick up hitchhikers anymore? Because they used to be seen routinely, but not so much.
I haven't picked up anyone for ages. You can email us with your thoughts this morning, breakfast@bbc.co.uk, or you can Facebook wall at facebook.com/breakfast, or tweet us your thoughts at BBC Breakfast as well.
We'll talk about that later on. We'll find out how JJ, the tiger, is settling in.
Oh, he's seriously beautiful. Time now to catch up with the news, travel and weather, where you will have the headlines in a minute.
Hello, this is Breakfast with Louise Minchin and Charlie State.
Coming up on the programme today, after a mother was fined for taking her son out of lessons for her wedding, we'll discuss whether parents should be allowed to take their children out of school in term time in exceptional circumstances.
Do tattoos give a bad first impression in the workplace? The head of the Metropolitan Police says ban staff from having visible body art because he says it damages the professional image of the force. We'll hear both sides of that argument.
How do you reversion classic childhood characters like Winnie the Pooh and his friends? Comedian Robert Webb will be able to tell us, having taken on a completely new storytelling role.
And following problems with his vocal cords, Art Garfunkel will be telling us how he's trying to rediscover the much-loved voice, which gave us decades of hits, including, of course, Bridge Over Troubled Water and Mrs. Robinson.
Let's remind you of the latest news at 6:31. Human trafficking in Britain is on the increase, according to new government estimates. The study says organised criminal gangs are behind the illegal trade in people for sex, labour and domestic slavery. Universities in England should give grants to poorer sixth form students to help them get into higher education, according to the former Labour Minister Alan Milburn.
A 21-year-old Bangladeshi man has been arrested in New York on suspicion of plotting to blow up the Federal Reserve building.
British police will dig up land on the Greek island of Kos tomorrow in the search for Ben Needham. Ben was 21.
The economy in China has shown slower growth for the 7th consecutive quarter. It grew by...
Greece is bracing itself for a general strike, the second in a month, over the next round of government spending cuts.
Just days after an historic agreement was reached to hold a referendum on independence, the Scottish National Party conference gets underway today.
And just to let you know, we'll be talking to the Deputy Leader of the Scottish National Party, Nicola Sturgeon, just after 7:30.
Chain stores are shutting shops at a rate of more than 20 a day, according to new research.
A pair of conjoined twins have been successfully separated after an operation at London's Great Ormond Street Hospital. Story, isn't it? It's 6:35. Alex will have the full weather forecast for you in about 10 minutes or so here on Breakfast.
Right now, it's time for the sport.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed the picture of Roy Hodgson behind you looking really desperate.
I didn't.
Head almost in his hands, not quite. Wasn't particularly happy with England's performance yesterday. Obviously, rain-delayed match. You know, not playing on the day they thought. The players, some of them had taken sleeping tablets to get a good night's sleep the night before. Didn't quite go his way. Where do you think the most expensive cup of tea in Britain is?
I assume it's going to be Chelsea, is it?
That's what I was assuming.
Manchester United, Manchester City. Most expensive pie would cost about how much?
£3.
£4, Kidderminster.
Really?
Yeah. in
See, I'm
Kidderminster.
interested in the cups of tea.
Yeah, cups of tea. You can get in, a cup of tea for 50p.
Ah, you see, that's what it
yeah,
should be, isn't it?
and yeah, so
The thing
all
with the
around
price of a
£1.
pie, though, is it's all down to the quality of the pie. Because you wouldn't mind spending £4 on a pie if it's a good pie, would you?
You and your quality sausages and quality pies. Yeah, see, the Kidderminster might be venison or something.
Somebody out there will have had a Kidderminster pie, so we can find out.
The tea can't be that variable, even though the price is.
Yeah, the tea doesn't change.
Spending on football is escalating, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and things like the cost of a programme really expensive. Most expensive place to buy a programme is in Leeds.
OK, more on that a little later on as well. Thank you very much.
Just coming up to 20 to 7, Northern Ireland's first private abortion clinic will officially open today, despite expected protests from pro-life campaigners.
The Mary Stopes Centre in Belfast will offer women terminations for £450. Andy Martin reports. Let's talk about this now. We're joined by Mara Clark this morning. Mara, first of all, could you just give a sense of whether you think there is a need for the service that they're providing outside of the NHS?
There's absolutely...
So that's one example, and it's difficult to sort of generalise, but what sort of type of situations are the women in who are going to you in Northern Ireland trying to find help? Well, about a young girl there,
yes.
What sort of other situations?
Ask you, Peter, from Catholic Voices, do you have an objection to the clinic opening in principle?
Within the law...
You can only know whether there's demand for it once it exists, and if people go through their doors and require their services, then there must be a need there.
No, but that's for people...
And your view's obviously entirely different to what Mara's are, and she's saying perhaps in abusive relationships that there is a need. She sees the need there.
Rape causing...
And Mara, I mean, the clinic is opening today, so it's going to exist.
Yes.
How will it be determined whether or not it is necessary? Thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It is at 6:45. You're watching Breakfast on BBC News, the main stories this morning. And coming up on the programme later today, those undergoing...
Let's have a look at the weather this morning. Alex has gone to Weston-super-Mare for us this morning, but you're not just on a jolly, are you, Alex? There is a reason. It's to do with flooding.
I like you bringing a little bit of sunshine at the end of your report. Thank you, Alex.
Now, the big retailers have been closing more than 20 stores a day between them in recent months. Steph's going to tell us what's going on.
Yes, morning to you both. Still the pressure on the high street. A lot of the reasons we've talked about to do with not enough people buying from them, but also the pressures they face with the bills that they have to pay, which keep negative a bit later. We've got him on because their results are out after 7.
Steph, thank you. See you later.
Time now, 6:53. London Zoo is the location for a very special meeting this week. JJ, the Sumatran tiger, has travelled nearly 4,000 miles to meet his new mate there.
Yes, she's come even further for the date. Melati was brought over from Australia a few weeks ago. If they breed successfully, it will help save a critically endangered species.
Bored by the whole thing, he is.
Very beautiful tigers. We'll have the headlines at 7 o'clock. Right now, it's time to catch the news, travel and weather where you are. See you in a minute or two.